Welcome to the Private Property Farming Podcast. My name is Mbali once again, and thank you for joining us. Please feel free to ask any questions because today we're joined by a very special guest, a thriving entrepreneur, one that is doing phenomenal work on the ground, assisting small-scale farmers in South Africa. And her name is none other than Leeko Makoene. She is the CEO of Made with Rural. So please do feel free to ask questions and engage with us on whichever platform you're watching, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. But without further ado, let's get to know Leeko and her organization. Leeko, how are you doing?
Hi, Mbali. I'm good, thanks. And hi to all the listeners that tuned in. I'm doing well. Farming. Very hot today. So,
yes,
sitting in the car with the aircon on full blast.
Wow, yes, it is hot, and you're looking beautiful with your summer hat and your lovely yellow dress, or is it a t-shirt top? People won't believe that you're dealing with farmers looking this pretty.
I farm in dresses all the way. I refuse to wear pants.
Absolutely, changing the narrative.
Changing the narrative. In case you didn't hear my voice, you didn't see my earrings, guess what? Here is my bright yellow dress to recognize that I'm a woman doing this, and I'm here to stay.
Wow, fantastic. Leeko, tell us about Made with Rural. Give us a brief background. Okay,
Made with Rural is it's my baby, man. Made with Rural saved my life. It's a platform for up-and-coming farmers, you know, that are closed out by the industry, by the system, that have challenges, and they want to just come together, unite, and get out there, kick doors, and show what we can do, you know. So this platform was created back in 2016 after my own struggles as a farmer, you know, where, I mean, it was one thing after the other, trying to break through, trying to supply my produce, trying to buy inputs. And, you know, at every single stage of the value chain, you just get so challenged. You know, things becomes crazy. And when you are all alone and by yourself, I mean, farming it can also be a lonely game, you know. If you're all by yourself somewhere far away in the outskirts, trying to do it, you know, without much information from the city or from the end customer or from the buyers, then you sort of get lost. So I thought, you know what, after I've experienced all these hassles and challenges myself, let me create a platform where we can come together, where there can be knowledge, you know, that's accessible to any new player, to existing farmers that have just been struggling to grow in the industry. And then we came together, we formed clusters of farmers. We in 4 provinces now, where we do many different things. We come together, we buy together as a group, we sell also together as a group. And in that way, we are able to change the narrative. We're able to, you know, to just change our own agribusinesses and scale up.
Wow. And you say you're in 4 provinces. Which provinces are those where you're assisting the small scale farmers?
So we're in different provinces. We started in the Northwest. We have now grown also in Gauteng, and we've just started 2 satellite sites in KZN and the Western Cape.
Wow.
And Mpumalanga coming up early next year.
Wow, that's fantastic. What are some of the pressing issues that farmers are facing today?
Oh man, it's a lot. It is a lot. It's surprisingly, it's food. You know, it's food, and you will take it for granted that the food business is an easy business. You know, you're growing basic stuff that people need on a daily basis, but it's proving not to be for many of the guys on the ground. So access to market is still a huge problem for some of the guys. But I realize the problem is not as such, you know, accessing those markets. It's just getting information on what those markets are. Like, who are you targeting? it that you're growing? How, just understanding your business, understanding the industry, understanding the trends, and all of that. But because it's a whole long list, we can't sort of have all of them as one word. We've chosen to call it access to market as a challenge. So that's and for us as Made with Rural, that's our starting point to say, for any business really to succeed, you need to have a home for your products. You can't just plan stuff, cross your fingers, get down on your knees, and hope when they are ready they're going to sell. So that's our starting point. I mean, we call it it's a demand-driven model. So the demand informs the rest of the plan. So we start with the end in mind. So if the end is, hey, I am targeting this type of a person, whatever, you profile your target group. So if that's who you're targeting, it will inform the rest of, your business, your operation, how you're going to run this, does this need a certain type of compliance? Does it need this? Does it need whatever? So it will inform the rest of the plan. And then in that way, you can be able to start setting goals for yourself and achieving these things as you go. And eventually you'll be able to master that game of, accessing that market that, you've put down as your goal. And then, in that way, cash flow problems can fall away. All other challenges can also start falling away because, you're dealing with the real issues that will make you succeed in the end.
Wow, I like that. Starting with the end in mind, which I feel like it's very crucial. Look, in the beginning, you mentioned that you were a farmer. You were exposed to certain obstacles that couldn't get you to the next level that you really wanted to be in. And now, having incorporated Made with Rural and working with farmers, what are the challenges that Made with Rural is now experiencing when working with the farmers? Or even maybe, let's say, the end in mind, the corporates, the clients. What are some of the frustrations now that you're seeing that, I started Made with Rural to actually help farmers, etc. Now, what, as an entity, are you experiencing that is becoming maybe like a burden or a challenge or an obstacle for your organization?
Well, look, it's the platform itself serves two customers, right? So we serve the market, and then we also serve the farmer. My team in the office is always like a little bit like, hey, they want to pull their hair out, like, but yesterday you said we work for the farmer, but today you are telling me, it's a very thin line because we sort of, in inverted commas, serving two masters in a way, and our job is to make things simpler for them, to say this relationship, that we are building between the farmer and the client, it really needs to start on good footing. It needs, I don't know how to put it, but we need to educate both sides to say, if you are and by the client, I also mean all the other stakeholders in farming, not just buyers. So it can be your corporate, ESD programs. It can be government, all the other stakeholders that have an interest in supporting the type of farmer that we work with. And then, so we have to educate both. We have to educate the farmer how to supply the market. We have to educate the farmer how to deal with corporates, how to fit into these ESD programs that have been designed. And also when you look on the other side of the coin, we also have to educate our stakeholders on how to buy from farmers, especially the so-called emerging farmer. It's not your commercial guy, so you can't go with the same terms, you can't go, with the same approach. It's a totally different game. So, and also with corporate, you have and financial institutions, you have to also educate them that, but this type of a farmer is a different character. You can't just want to box them into how you've done things with commercial farmers before, how you're doing things with commercial farmers. It's a different ball game. So that's that. That alone on its own is a challenge. Just trying to please both sides so that they can be able to build a relationship that is, long lasting. So the mindset can also change, and they can understand that this is a long game. If I'm putting money here, it has to be patient funding. It can't just be quick, you pay me in 3 months, in whatever. You have to be very patient and understand that this profile of a farmer, unfortunately, has got a whole lot of other challenges that they deal with before they can, be able to repay you or to grow the business, to do whatever. I mean, when I started, I had someone believe in me, who just decided, I'm going to give you money. I like the model. I can see it's on paper. You need to go out there and test it. So he just gave me the money and left me alone. I mean, this was in April 2016. And he's left me alone until now. I gave him a call on Monday to say, hey, still alive. Your money is still safe, still doing this. You still, so that's the kind of patience that I'm talking about, to say, it's a totally different game. You have to understand the type of person or profile that, you're funding or you are buying from. So the challenges for me, or for Made with Rural at the moment, is the mindset. It's the mindset of the farmers that we don't allow on the program. We don't just take any farmer. We have a whole lot of people phoning on a daily basis, sending emails, wanting to be part of the network. We don't. It's not a come one, come all kind of thing. It's you have to have a different mindset. You have to understand that this is a long game. First of all, it can't be, I am still thinking of farming. I have a piece of land that my father left me. It's lying idle. Can I be part of Made with Rural? Can you help me farm it? No. It's we just don't have the capacity for that. So we need a certain type of mindset that has already, made peace with what they want to do in farming. This is what I want to do. I've tried it. I've gone through 2 seasons already. I've seen flames. I've seen nature work against me, but I still stood up and dusted myself and carried on. And to also understand that this is a long game. And this is what we are trying to achieve with the type of model and the networks that, we're building. And it's either you buy into it or it's not for you. But you can't come into this space and want to change our minds and change whatever. It is what it is. You can only come in and enhance it, and then we grow it, and then, we let it work magic in your life, in your farm, and we see where it can take you. And that's why, we've had a fluctuating number in the beginning of farmers coming in, testing the waters, and then coming out, and then realizing a year or two later that I was okay there. Let me try to go back in again, So it's a mindset shift that, for me at the moment, is the biggest struggle, both on the farmer side and on the client and stakeholder side. Because unless these two parties, are willing to just understand each other properly and understand the dynamics that are involved in each of these spaces, then we won't go anywhere. So we'll keep having failed projects, we'll keep having money thrown into projects that don't take off, and we will keep wondering why, know. And if you've also had a model, because we've had a model that we've tested. I mean, it was on paper, we took time out, and then we just went out, tested and retested, tweaked wherever we needed to tweak it, and came back and said, right, now we think we found it. If you also have a model like that has been tested, and you're trying to sell that to people that have, like in this case, farmers that have never really worked that way before, it becomes very difficult, because at every stage they will try to oppose you, and sometimes, just to win the argument, they will just dismiss you and say, but you're not a farmer. You're not on the ground. You just have this model, and then you think whatever, just to dismiss you, and not realizing that, but I've done it. I've been there, done it, got many t-shirts. I didn't even keep any of them, but I have done it, and I know that you can be stubborn about certain things and try to go at it alone and whatever. You will still come back to the same place. you won't see growth in your business, you know. So it's that it takes a whole lot of effort and patience to educate all the way on both sides. So both on the demand side and on the supply side, our work is just to educate, to just say, to also to cooperate, also to government. We can't keep throwing monies at the problem, at the challenges, at whatever, and hope they go away. It didn't work in the past. It has never worked. So if you look at some of our projects, we very much attracted to things like, you know, your failed, so-called failed projects, your agri parks that didn't do well in the past. So we very attracted to such, you know, more than anything, to prove a point that there's nothing wrong with most of the things that have been done here. The approach and the mindsets and the type of people that you have put in here, they were wrong. So let's show you what can happen if, you know, if you put together a nice tested recipe, you know, with quality ingredients, and then you will see the cake that will come out will be a decent, you know, good enough cake. So that's that. Educating consumers, even, you know, we educating every single person that you find along the agri value chain, to say, but with this type of a farmer, this is how you do it. This is how you buy from them. I mean, we do home delivery boxes weekly. People need to understand. You can't complain and say, but I want avocados. Well, you know, you have to understand you are buying into something that doesn't have avocados at the moment, you know.
And within season.
Like, it's okay, we forgive you. You can still go to your retail stores for the avocados, fine. But right now, this is what we have. And these are the reasons why we have what we have. So you're going to have to buy from this list, you know, in support of these guys that are really doing the groundwork. They put their passion, their heart and soul into that. And they're growing the produce for you.
Like, there might be farmers that are listening and be like, wow, she said so many challenges and so many obstacles. I'm a farmer that has a good mindset, that has tried it, that has been farming for 2, 5, 10 years, but I'm still battling. I just want to find out, you mentioned that how you intake farmers in this model is based on the mindset, and that you have to be a farmer, not you've inherited land somewhere and you're thinking of farming. So even with the program, what type of farmers are you specifically working with in terms of commodity? Is it only vegetable producing farmers, or could you consider livestock or grain? What is your need or demand at this stage?
We work with many farmers. I mean, we have an organization that we started called Farmers United of South Africa, FUSA. With FUSA then allowed us to grow the Made with Rural platform to include a whole range, you know, of other commodities. We started with just vegetables, but then now we're doing grains as well. We'll see how the outcome. We just did a harvest now for wheat in the Western Cape, so we'll see how that goes. With the market, it was our first trial run, and then there'll be many more coming next year. And we do meat as well. With meat, we started retail stores as well. We've got a retail store out in Tarleton. We aggregating from different livestock farmers products that goes to the abattoir. It gets slaughtered, it gets delivered to prisons, to hospitals, and also people can walk into a retail outlet here and buy, or you can order from home. I mean, there's combos and hampers that are designed weekly, and flyers go out every single week for people to just select what they want, and they can get the order. Same with the crops, with the vegetables. We do the box thing every single week, and people order their meat with vegetables. Sometimes we have, you know, we're starting to introduce like a chef, a resident chef that can be putting together a recipe for people to say, okay, if I've ordered some meatballs, this is how I can make them with this type of a salad and whatever not. So we're pairing both sides
Hi, Leeko, can you hear me?
It's
Okay.
that way. We have two companies that have just joined. We do honey. We got a beekeeper. She's got her hives on most of our network farms, and then the honey that comes out of there gets sold also via the platform. So you have to be farming. Unfortunately, you can't just come and say, "Hey, this is a dream of mine since I was young." No
Yes.
problem. Get on with it. Come back when you've done it. And normally for us, it will be for a minimum of 2 seasons.
Yeah.
When I started in the winter. Pests were hibernating, crop was looking good. I thought I was the best farmer in the world. And then summer hit with the hailstorms, the pests were out, it was a disaster. And that's when I realized that if you haven't gone through the 2 seasons, you actually and dusted yourself off and got up again and pushed, then I don't think. And then again, because of the logistics, right? Because of the costs that are also involved, in transporting product and everything. I mean, we work with growing programs. We sell the product before it even hits the ground. So we have to make sure that you have some basic knowledge of farming and experience, because we just, as a company, we're not huge, so we don't have the capacity to put you in the classroom and start you off from ground zero. We just don't have the capacity. So there's always other channels where people can go and learn and do whatever, and then come to us when they are nearly market ready. I mean, we help them get 100% ready. But we've come to realize that we just don't have the capacity to be everything to everyone. So we've picked our spot, and that is that. Because what then the company does is you become a member of the network, but wherever you are, like in Hammanskraal, when we started with about 5 farmers. But wherever we go, we have to build a cluster of a minimum of about 10 people, within a 30-kilometer radius of each other, simply because of the logistics.
Yes.
So there will always be a hub near you where you can drop off the produce, or one of the farmers, the bigger, maybe the guy that's growing a bigger amount of crop, will become that hub where the smaller guys can go and drop off, and then the truck can just collect from one place. We've just done it also in Talton. We have a hub here, the farmers drop off, and then the truck can then take to the customers. But that also helps us, as the mouthpiece, or as the relationship kind of broker for the farmers to manage the rejects, because if the truck is just going to get there, you load the truck, and then we only realize once it hits the client that you've actually packed the wrong spec, or you've just given us not so good looking produce. So it helps to have a hub, because then we can do our QC there and manage the waste element, and also be able to channel the stuff that doesn't meet spec to an alternative market, rather than taking everything to the farmer, wasting the petrol, the everything, and then it gets rejected, and then we don't have an alternative home for it. So the hubs also, they help in that way. They help in educating our growers to know, how to grow the produce, how to take care of the produce. We have a team of extension officers in our facilities that go out weekly. They do weekly reports. They go on your farm. They check how you're doing, because I mean, in the produce has already been sold. So we have to make sure that what we said we will have at the end of this exercise, we will have. So the weekly visits are also very, very important. We've partnered with very amazing people, in the industry that do fertilizers, that do, a whole range of other crop protection and nutrition stuff. And they come with us to advise. We have a team of agronomists, coming also from different sponsored corporate places, where they come and then they check wherever our extension officers are not sure. They can call them in, they come through, they check, and then they help you recover whatever loss that you might have had because of certain pests and things like that.
Yes.
So we don't only sell the produce, we give that hand holding for a while. Yeah, technical advice. So I like calling it that we incubate and then we accelerate. So for the first year, it's just an incubation phase, getting to know each other, getting to know your land, getting to know everything about you, and structuring your business nicely so that you can be able to have a positive cash flow at any given point. Yeah, and then as we go in the second year, we start now with the acceleration. By the third year, you are fully accelerated. You introduced or left alone to start, supplying directly to whoever that we might have paired you up with, and you do your own thing. I mean, in the agri-parks alone, we've worked in 2 agri-parks. We've worked with amazing farmers that have managed to come out of agri-parks and purchase their own land, And for us, that's amazing. For us, that is just like, wow, this is what we want. We want to see growth. And that's what the agri-parks are meant for anyway. They are not meant for people to be there forever and ever. No, they are meant for you to learn and grow, and another batch can come in and do the same. So yeah, so that's I know I talk a lot, sorry.
Yeah, but it's nice to hear information in the different ways in which you're helping farmers. Let's talk, you mentioned some partners. Let's talk about that. I know that you've partnered with SAB. They had this program Kickstart where they wanted to identify farmers. And so tell us about that initiatives and how it's going with that partnership.
Yeah, wow. I like saying they are sort of my parent, SAB has been in my life for a very long time, especially my entrepreneurship life. When I started, I was an agro processor. I was cooking some chili relishes and sauces. And that's when SAB came into my life. I entered a program called SAB Kickstart, and I made it, to the top 5, and got some funding, and I was able to grow my business. So I've always believed and loved that program,
Wow.
And then when they came, was it early last year, to say, hey, this is what's happening. Companies are invited to apply. We have some budget, because of the measure that happened between them and AB and BEV. Let's support some farmers. Would like to find farmers, but it's a youth program. So we'd like to find farmers between ages of 18 and 35, who in the urban outskirts who are in need of funding to grow their agribusinesses. So we set out, from start to finish. We started with the due diligence of those farmers, first from application processes, interviewing farmers. It was quite interesting because you had to put together a team, and you've been on both sides. So you've been now you are a judge, you have to go a judge. Oops. And then you remember how you were judged during that time, how terrified you were to go there and do your brief, your what you call it, your pitch and all of that. So this was a different setting, like, hey, we're coming to your farm and we're coming to see you and see the farm and see what you do there. So it was quite interesting for me. I mean, we had an amazing team that understood the technical side of farming, the business side, everything. So the program that we put together, man, it was a fantastic program. Even myself is like, oh my gosh, I wish there was someone who could put together something like this when I was starting out,
Yes.
After the interviews and the shortlisting and all of that, we had a boot camp on a farm for 2 full weeks, So the shortlisted candidates were there. They met each other. Some for the first time, came from different provinces, and they lived, ate, breathed farming, everything that they did. They had an opportunity to go out and visit like commercial farmers in the area, just to see what is possible, to see what we mean by commercialization. to
Yeah.
understand the industry from that viewpoint as well, and to share stories amongst themselves, to talk about their challenges, and to just see what sort of solutions they themselves can come up with, to make sure that their agribusinesses succeed. And then from there, the implementation started. So how the program was structured is it had a business development support element, and then it also had an infrastructure support element. So with the infrastructure support, everything rested on our shoulders as the implementation partner. So we had to go out there and look at your farm, and then we say, based on the experience that we have and the way that the project is designed, this is how we're recommending the infrastructure should be, or the budget for infrastructure should be invested for Mbali, for this other. So it was sort of tailor-made to each farm. It wasn't a one size fits all, you all getting a car kind of thing. No, it was what did we see when we was there, doing due diligence, what do we feel you need more, prioritize your needs to be able to get to that market readiness stage as quickly as possible. So we prioritize things like your compliance, things, your global gap, because we know, as a farmer, how far that can take you, how many doors that can open for you. So those are kind of things that we prioritize. We prioritize irrigation, just simplifying things for you as a farmer, like the type of system that was installed there, you can operate it from your phone. We do understand the challenges that might be there. You need to know at any given point, whether you are on the farm or out of the farm, how your produce is doing. And water is life,
Absolutely.
So if there's nutrients deficiencies, there's water problems and whatever not, the product gets compromised. So those are some of the things we knew that, okay, there's just so many challenges in farming, Bali, that, so many. But let's find the top 3 or top 5 that we can tackle, and that we know that once tackled, they will have that rippling effect or domino effect on all the others, but we had to start somewhere. So that's where we started. And I mean, we've got successful stories there. We've got not so successful stories as well. Nature of the game, that's how it goes. But we've got farmers that brought their everything onto the program, that said, hey, here I am. I'm going to scratch out everything that I thought I knew. I'm going to give this my best shot, give it a chance. Let's hear. Because, I mean, you're pairing them up with experts, you're pairing them with people with products that have been tried and tested. They've been in the industry for long. You got farmers that used to do their own, grow their own seedlings. But in this case, you're saying, okay, let's try this other method. I mean, we've got a team of, fantastic ladies in KZN. They used to grow cucumbers straight from seed. I'm thinking, I've never seen that done. And how, what was the outcome? And they'll show you pictures and then you'll see. But you also see some challenges. And then what we did was, I mean, we're working with the farmer. It's not a top-down approach. It's just to say, let's advise you, yes, you've been doing it this way all along, but let's run a trial, right? So if you have 10 tunnels, let's do the direct seeding in the 5, and then in the other 5, let's get you quality seedlings. Let's see, and you should see the messages. It's like, these yields are showing me flames. Even my one supplier can't take all of my produce anymore. Find me another person. You know what I mean? So those for me, that's like, this is all we had set out, to do. To say, don't be stuck in your ways. Life unfortunately doesn't accommodate. You have to adapt or die. So you have to keep adapting. You have to keep trialing, and farming is all about that. Just trial things. Elements around us are forever changing. The weather is changing. The buying patterns are changing. The trends are changing. So many things are changing. So don't be stuck in your way. Exactly. COVID-19 came and showed all of us flames. Don't be stuck in your ways. Be able, to be fluid, to be able to, if you're not sure about something, do one row of trial, of testing it against, what you've always done, and see if it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's fine. Can the idea move on to other things? So that for me was what, this whole thing was all about, to just show these young farmers, well, they're young to me, they're still youth, these young farmers, how just to adapt, how to just, do that mindset shift a little, and see what amazing things it can do for you and for your business. So yeah, so we have, we had 9 farmers, and also it took a little bit of education also on the client side.
Yes.
Because we had to say, it's corporate, hey, we have this much, we want to support 50 farmers. It's like, okay, this is farming. That's like not enough for 50 farmers, it's just gonna be a drop in the ocean. Please bear with us. Let's take you through, this plan, and then you will see for yourself. Yes, if it's impact you're looking for, we can't, let's rather start with 9, and then with the 9, then we can be able to see real impact. Jobs also that were created during that whole process. It's just amazing how many jobs could be retained, and how many could, new jobs could be created. It's wow. And we have this one young farmer out in Pretoria. Oh my gosh, he's used to call himself a Google farmer. He's just like YouTubed his way to farming. And he just decided, nah, I'm gonna can it all. I'm gonna just listen to the expert advice. I'm gonna follow my spraying programs, everything to the T, and I'm just gonna see. You'll be amazed at the results that he has. This is his 2nd season planting a different crop and flying. It's just like flying.
And that's what it's about, right? Being proactive.
Being very proactive. And also just, having the platform that can match you to the right suppliers, that can match you to the right, because at the end of the day, it takes the same effort, I believe, whether you're going to plant a seedling that's like of inferior quality and a proper stuff. You're still going to wake up, you're still going to feed it, you're still going to do whatever, So, why not do it right from the onset, from the start,
Absolutely.
So now it's like, oh, some of the names, I'm even hearing it for the first time. Oh, where have you buying your seeds or seedlings? Like, no, I just go into whatever over-the-counter kind of things. Like, no, but there's another way, where you can do this. You can actually build a relationship with those people. They can look at your area. They have stats for years, of that area, of whatever. They know the trends. They know they've been running trials. They know what can work here. Who's your market? If you're looking for, in the case of tomatoes, if you want mediums, this is a variety that will give you a lot of mediums. This is, things like that. So it's not you're not going to do it blindly anymore. Cross your fingers, get on your knees, and hope someone is going to come and get and buy the produce from you. Now it's a well thought out plan. Now you have the business mind also applied to the process. Now if I'm going to put in so much money to do this is how much I must expect to get out. But to get this out, I need to take these steps and make sure that it becomes successful. I need the right nutrients. Wow. I can't
Sure, it seems that we've lost Leeko there. I'm sure she'll be back.
And cut corners. How ethical. Yeah, you need to be a very ethical grower. You can't just also cut your corners and think, I can just quickly spray with this and do whatever. No. It doesn't work that way anymore. Working from home vibes.
Working from home, yes. No, but thank you for that. Because I was going to ask, what are the success stories, and you've mentioned quite a number, those that worked at the agri parks, that have now gotten their own land, those that, have come with the Made Rural program and then have got access from technical partners. They're getting on the ground help and assistance, and also just showing the farmers a different mindset that you can grow your own seed, but this is the right cultivar. You've got 10 tunnels, maybe trial on 5, etc. So sure, it's phenomenal work. And the way you're putting it, it's like, yeah, you've been through it and you're still going. So what is next for Made with Rural 2021 and beyond?
2021 is going to be a very exciting year. We are going direct. We're going direct to the market, direct to the people. We fulfilling dreams. I'm a village girl. Hey, I've taken you to my village once, so I'm a village girl. I need to get back. I need to get back to the villages and set up proper facilities or retail stores that can give people a variety of fruit, of vegetables, of meats, of everything. I am sick and tired of exclusivity that is happening in the market. I go to my village, I engage with elders that have never tasted strawberries, blueberries, whatever not before. To them, they look at those produce and it's for white people or it's for suburban folk, you know. And as a farmer, I know how much it costs to grow that. I know how much retailers buy from us per kg, but when you walk into a retail store, how much it gets sold for. I know it's possible. I know it is very much possible. And food like that needs to also be availed to each and every single South African. I mean, you've been to Israel, I've been to Israel, I've seen the markets there, how they operate. Most of our things are in pallets, they are packaged, they're pre-packed. So it's either you have 20 bucks or sorry, you know. But in places like Israel, you know, outdoor markets, there's a scale. If you have 10 bucks, if it's going to give you 2 strawberries, you have your 2 strawberries and go, you know. So it's to change that side of agriculture. That's what 2021 is all about. We want to democratize food. We want to democratize fresh produce, and that's exactly what we are setting out to do. We're just going out there to give people food. However, you know, when a spinach leaf is not perfect, it's got holes, it might get rejected. But the minute you chop it up, all of a sudden, it sells more than the perfect leaf spinach. So hey, why not chop up food for everybody, for informal traders? Why can't they sell anything and everything they want to sell? So that's what 2021 is all gonna be about.
Wow, Leeko, you are definitely a mover and shaker, and I wish you all the success with Made with Rural. And for the farmers, they must come out and shine, and they must sing praise the name of Made with Rural, because you're doing a lot on the ground, which not a lot of people have appetite and the energy to do. I know working with a group of numbers of, whether it's farmers or just any individuals, and you know, entrepreneurs have their own mindsets and their expectations. It's not easy, I'm sure, to just try keep both ends calm. Like you said, you work for the farmer and you work for the client. So continue to just keep shining and assisting those that are in need, who are really struggling in the agriculture industry, because at the end of the day, if we're not growing the industry, then we won't have farmers in the next 10, 15 years. There'll only be a few, and they themselves too cannot service the whole market or the whole South African population, and even export for that matter. So wow, we'll be sure to look out. I know that we will add your links of Made with Rural on the show notes. So based on everything that you said, please probably expect like millions and millions of emails as well. People saying, I've gone through 2 seasons. Help me now, you know.
Help me now. Oh, we've contacted you before. You never got back to us. I get a lot of that as well.
You see, it's because you're busy.
Shout out to all of those. Like, sorry guys, capacity challenge. But yeah, we see your mail, we see your love. We will get back to you eventually.
Yeah, I have no doubt. Thank you so much, Leeko, for your time, and all the best once again.
Great stuff. Thanks so much, Mbali. Keep well.
It's a pleasure. Well, guys, there you have it. That was Leeko from Made with Rural, a fantastic organization that is really aggregating a number of farmers. And as you heard, she's in about 4 or 5 provinces and really is expanding. And she's looking to work with farmers who have a different mindset, a go-getter attitude, farmers that are just really trying to grow and scale their businesses. But if you're short of specific assistance, whether it's technical advice, access to markets, they're an organization that can help. But again, I must emphasize that you mentioned you have to be a farmer that is in production. You have to be a farmer that has gone through certain challenges, and they can assist you. And she's working with phenomenal partners as well, corporates, government. So this could definitely benefit you in the long run. But I hope you had an interactive session. We will link all Made with Rural show notes in the live recording on YouTube, and feel free to contact them, whether it's after this interview or in the future. But thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.